bear with me. You know, it is corny. It's, I have to grab your attention to help you, to hopefully have one listen to what I am saying in order to keep the audience and grow the audience. Right now, I have to adjust the volumes and do everything. I'm dealing with only two eyes, my left eye and my third eye. So still got a little dust in my right eye, but we'll figure all that out eventually. This is Volothamp Modulus Tautology. Yeah, the only way you know what's going on is if you follow, subscribe, hit the like button, share the message. As you can see on your screen, I got a Final Fantasy II on there. Everything looks like it's running well. And to those in the know, shout out to, let me give my shout out first to Big Niz, because that's when I logged in, I seen him give me a like on a couple of my posts on Facebook. Big Niz grew up with Big Niz he lived across the street from me, him and his brother Cool C. We'll call him Cool C for now, aka Nafi now. And not to be confused with Cool C that's on Death Row, right? That therein is where hip hop is funny, because I seen a video of Ice-T explaining that some other dude named Ice said something negative towards black women, and they thought that he said it since he was married to a white woman, and yada yada yada. Long story short, he had to take a L for apparently hating black women, because I think he's on this second or third marriage, yada yada, whatever. I didn't know. I knew Ice was an old head, but I didn't know Ice-T was a baby boomer. And that's where I am with trying to break down what hip hop truly is. It's an American culture created by the children of the 1960 civil rights movement. So prior to 1960, we'll say y'all baby boomers. 1960 and beyond, to 1979, we're saying I'm saying is Generation X. So, yeah, Ice-T is, I think, 58, so he's a baby boomer. All right, cool. Whereas Barack Obama is 60 or 61, I consider him a Generation X, with Chuck D and others that are born right after 1960. They're a little older than me. I think Chuck D's like 65 or something like that. But Barack Obama, Chuck D might be older than that. But anyway, I decided to do it in 20-year intervals just to make it more organized, so that 1980 is Generation Y or Millennial. You're Millennial, and you're young punk, But we see people still running the narrative that age doesn't matter, but it does. That's why Jasmine Crockett sounds like a complete, but we'll let the young girl try to figure it out, because she's getting a lot of misinformation about hip hop, and hence she doesn't truly understand the community consciousness and culture is actually the triadic truth, love, and courage. There it is. That's what we need in order to achieve freedom, justice, and equality. And how Obama messed up with trying to convert that into diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's like, nah, dude, we black Americans, we trying to get freedom, justice, and equality. And in our fight in trying to get, freedom, justice, and equality, you done helped add on to desegregating us so that we're more diverse, right? Thusly killing black on black business. They do that by promoting black on black crime. Hence, our equity is in the toilet, right? And then inclusion is then you're including the migrants and including you change the colloquial rhetoric of LGBTQIA plus dot PDF files, and that's the DEI policies that he did. That's what they meant. Well, Biden, he really added it on with the immigrants by opening up the borders. So it became, I got my, Puerto Rican friend here, I got my Dominican friend here. We all three of us get along good. Yeah, sometimes they fight. Yeah, sometimes it's because I'm from Puerto Rico, I'm from Dominica, and I'm from America. Yeah, sometimes we do get little, spats or rap battles because of that. But now you done put them on a higher tier than me, and my lineage goes, from Carolina alone goes way, 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 way back to, 1526 as a foundational Black American. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we're talking about, And no, I don't have to go that far back. I can go as far back as, 1915 just to prove that. That's when my great-grandmother gave birth to my grandfather. She was a Native American. Period. Black Native American. Period. Was she light-skinned like Dawn Staley? I seen some pictures. But we were dealing with black and white pictures, man. It's hard to tell how dark the complexion is, but But I knew my grandfather dark, right? Dark, right? So therein is where we get to confusion, because as you go back further in time, you're dealing with 2 raised to a higher power. So 2 to the first power is the number of parents that you have. I have 2. 2 to the second power is the number of grandparents you have. I have 4. 2 to the I'm skipping, right? 2 to the third power is how many great grandparents one has. That's 8, right? 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. The further you go back in time, even if you're just using a 20-year interval, the more, quote unquote, greatest grandparents you have. Such that when you get back to 1526, you're dealing with millions over the whole entire globe. So yeah, it's hard to tell, what percentage of my family was, of myself is native Black American, right? Or, Turtle Island or whatever it was called, whatever we want to call or reference it as at that point in time. But those people were here since day 0. Now when we talk about day 0, we're talking about, the birth of the Black Messiah, the white Messiah. And then we're going to talk about where was the Messiah. And in contrast to the words love and life both have 4 letters, but they're 2 different things altogether. That's that love. Love God. God love. That's the first commandment. That's what the book says. That's what the Messiah said. Love God. That's the first commandment. Second commandment, respect the Lord. But not everybody respected the Messiah. That's why we're still fighting today. So there it is. You know what I mean? That's my gist in a recap of where we started and where we're at today. It's just that it's fun. I find it funny because as soon as I say love God or if I say God love, as 2 variables, as 2 elements, as 2 ideologies, as 2 members in this thought process of Islamic Christianity is what I'm introducing it as. Because I don't have beef with Malcolm X or Martin Luther King. I respect both of them as the lords of our movement. Hip-hop is an intelligent movement. Like Rakim said, which one am I going to go with today? Knowledge should begin until I finish this song, cause the rhyme gets rough as the rhyme goes on. You sweat as you step about to get hype, or should you just listen to the man on the mic? You're physically here with me, but how could you tell if it's meant to be hip hop if you're not mentally as well? So, you know, Barack is just learning hip hop, and now he's paying the price for disrespecting hip hop. And before him was, y'all gotta bear with me because I didn't prepare this as a speech. And I'm not talking about Al Sharpton. I spit on the ground in front of Al Sharpton. He's one of my old heads too. But yeah, we're talking about Jesse Jackson. Yeah, Jesse Jackson. And I did a little quick lineage on what Jesse did and how it became the, you know, him running for president, the Rainbow Coalition, and then 90s hit, he lost. He couldn't become the president. He would have to run again, you know what I mean? But instead of, hey, this is what we build together, you went with hip hop, he started disrespecting hip hop, and that's when hip hop attacked him back, you know? So that's when we started like, all right, instead of fighting us, you need to go free Mumia, right? Pardon, get you know, start doing some legislation, get Assata Shakur pardon. But they still, you know, even Barack doubled down on her bounty to capture Tupac's godmother, is who she is, right? But they still put Tupac as the GOAT, the greatest one, and then laugh because he was, you know, thugged out and doing things to other people's wives and, you know, stomping on people in the middle of Las Vegas. So, I mean, we as a culture, we know who did it. Well, who's he stomping out right there? All right, he did it. It was an open and closed case, but they had to drag it along because they have to keep that narrative of, you know, the black thug being the problem, and them trying to police us at the same time changing the definition of things like gay, you know, which is nothing more than, you know, be happy, kids spin around, fall down, that's gay, that'd be happy. Changing it to LGBTQIA plus .pdf. I mean, I can repeat this over. Changing the fundamental definition of things is what a lot of MAGA is against. That's what MAGA is trying to do, you know, making America great again. They can't call themselves white nationalists anymore because that's extreme racism, right? That's why we as students of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, specifically Malcolm X, we can no longer say black nationalism because that's extreme, you know, and therein is the problem. I mean, it's like, no, Malcolm X was actually saying, you know what I mean, what happened to JFK was wrong because of all of your hate, right? Everything that's going on right now is because of your hate. Like, you're the one, you're saying you're the leader, the white man, you're the leader. So everything is because of your hate. So Trump is trying to, I'm trying to stop hate, I'm trying to stop war. Some people you can just say, hey, put your guns down, and they put the guns down. But they're not doing that. So you might have to shoot somebody, or stab somebody, or snap somebody's neck. And I added that last one not to be, you know, hate, right? It's Hollywood. Like, Hollywood can show a movie where the protagonist is that bad, he can just use his hands and take out 10 people and have 10 bodies around him. And it's okay, you know what I mean? Because we understand that's Hollywood. It's quote unquote make-believe, you know? But, you know, I'm trying to, do whatever at a track meet, and I had a knife on me, and boom, and it's like, yo, this is none of my business. This is between the two fathers. All right, that's the brotherhood of man. But everybody has an opinion that wasn't there. Just like the Simpson case. But my closest friends know that we don't even want to talk about it, because you're defending him for what he did when we know what he did was Friday the 13th. I mean, well, really, it's worse than Friday the 13th. Jason just hit you with an axe and it was over, and then they made it for okay for TV now, for Friday, Halloween time, so you can watch it on channel 17 now, because they cut out all the gruesome parts of it, even though or they made it so, hey, they just have the blood come from underneath the door so you know what happened, and there it is, there it is. So I know I rap more than long enough, and y'all know that's the gist of my conversations right there anyway, right? I'm just trying to repeat, hey, love God, and then don't come at me with the not, and then why did you choose not? Right? Instead of coming with, I say love God, instead of coming with courage. Courageously love God, courage, God, love, courage. Yeah, I can spit all kinds of permutation and combinations that change the compassion, right? Peace and happiness, so that the other 8, really, you don't need the other 8 commandments. You know what I mean? You love God, you added courage. Now we can achieve peace, compassion, right? I know. So I'm sharing this one today because this is Final Fantasy II in America. You can see 1991, right? This is actually Final Fantasy IV. That's what happened when it and I'll play just a little bit. And that's what happened when it first came out. When Final Fantasy 1 came out, I think it came out in America, but it wasn't really that popular in America. The one that was popular was this one became popular, Final Fantasy 2, but this one came out for the Super NES. So you're saying it was an emulation of that original game. I do have the original game, but I don't have a original SNES anymore. So I do have to buy one of these. They sell them at the stores and stuff, where I can take my old cartridges and then play them on a new system, a quote unquote, Super NES system that also takes other cartridges too. So I do need, because I do have a couple Super Nintendo cartridges, and I have a lot of what's the name cartridges? Nintendo 64 cartridges. I do have my Nintendo 64, but the connection isn't there anymore, so I gotta really clean it real good. There's no water damage or anything like that. It's just me cleaning it real good and maybe adding some paste or something to it to get it up to specs back up today. Same thing with my PlayStation 3. It's just something tweaking that it's not making it, it's not working for me right now. I might just need a new power pack, I think, for that. But these are things that I'm trying to do hardware on the side and show my son the difference between hardware and software. And, showing him a little bit about gaming. So when it comes to this game right here, we're talking about the Super NES, and now you're talking about 16-bit system. And it's just cool to sit with him and try to explain it to him and show him the differences between this game and how it looked back then and how it looks now. And that's what I'm gonna get to in a second. Just bear with me for a moment, okay? And I'm only gonna give y'all 30 minutes of this anyway. Anyhow, so I got like 15 minutes to share a little bit of, and all this is running on my phone. That's a third aspect that I want people to understand. Like, I don't play this on my phone. I just have it on there just for demonstration purposes. They are fighting over the legality of ROMs and who owns the ROMs and if you buy the ROMs but if it's for this device and then you try to use it on that device or this and that and therein is, the copyright laws is what we actually experiencing. They got us believing that it's the artificial intelligence wars. So it is kind of Google, Elon, and Metaverse lining up together as MAGA, and then you have Apple kind of lining up as being the liberals or Democrats, but they're not. They're more DEI kind of a thing when dealing with the inclusion of all people. It's just it's you can't force people to say, hey, I'm including the leopards, the people with the leprosy. It's I hear you, you know what I mean, but nobody's Jesus here to just touch them and heal them and okay, now it's safe for all of us, especially when dealing with people that mentally are on some .pdf files around our children, and that's literally what's the problem is a lot of these things is, I just went to go see Minecraft. It's as innocent as it kind of wants to be, but a lot of the imagery and stuff was too gay, right? It's too LGBT, right? And who determines on what is and isn't too LGBTQIA? I'm right now I'm putting it as Western psychological methodology versus Eastern philosophical ideology. So, and therein I gave y'all the two triadic understandings of that arrangement in the knowledge. I have to now do algebraic, logic, theoretic, like using set theory or Venn diagrams to really break down and explain what's going on mathematically and whether or not it's illogical or logical. And there you lose people and what some people are arguing over. All right, this is enough of this. All right, so that's that right there. All right, so this is, so like I said, all this is on my phone, as you can see. Well, it's not even going to show you there. This is the actual Final Fantasy II. As you can see, this is also on my phone. I had this set up just to show the difference between the two. This is the immediate right after Final Fantasy 1. This one came out, as you can see, the date on there is 1988. Never came over to America until the late 90s or so. So this one, 2, and number 3 never came out in America until after 4 came out, which was the one I just showed you, Final Fantasy 2 on the Super Nintendo. I know I confused some people there a little bit, but those that are in the know of playing these games know what I'm talking about. Especially Niz, my friend Big Niz that gave me a shout out. My fondness, because we were playing at that time. We were playing Commodore 128, 164 games. Me and shout out to Smitty Bang. We had Commodore 64s. So I went away to college. I shared my 128 with my man Byron B, rest in peace, and Ron and them, and they took it apart and put it back together. I came back home and they had graph paper of dungeons and on all the classic games that I never got a chance to beat. They taught me how to play Ultima 4, Wizard and Wizardry, Zork, or the original Zork. Like, I mean, Bard's Tale. Like, it's like, yo, what are y'all doing? Like, how did y'all figure all this out? They took graph papers, things that I was trying to do in the classroom. They just took it apart and did it on their own in the streets. That's why I get them props when it comes to, you know, hip hop being a part of gaming, but really gaming is really a subset of hip hop. So you have the hip hop community consciousness and culture as this one big gigantic sphere, or you know what I mean, or circle on a two-dimensional plane, and then gaming is nothing more than a little circle within that. It's a subset of what hip hop truly is. Like, so yes, when gamers go, you know, hip hop is a genre. Yes, it's a genre in gaming. Some games in gaming isn't really hip hop. It's kind of evil or whatever. It's something that makes you say, nah, that ain't hip hop, dude. Right? It's a game about slavery. That's not hip hop, yo. Like, the African is not a slave. That's the first thing that we changed. As higher infinite power helping oppress people, or her infinite power helping oppress people, as the acronym for hip hop. You know what I mean? That we just do that because we artistically making the most out of life. There it is. So, and this is Final Fantasy 2. I'm not gonna start it because how much time I got? I'm already kind of. I got 5 more minutes. I'm not even gonna share that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to close that, and I'm going to, as y'all can see, this is on my phone, and I'm going to go straight to it. So this right here is the remake of Final Fantasy IV, which was originally Final Fantasy II on the Super NES. There it is. Y'all want to catch this. Y'all want to get this, right? And this is the game I'm about to play, and I'm going to enjoy playing this. I can't get that line off the bottom. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. New game. See, I didn't mean to do that. Let me reset that. Let me reset that. All right, cool. Close that. Boom. And let's do that again. So let's do that again. You know, that's letting y'all know that this is live and that are direct. And this is Volathan Modulus Tautology. Hit that like button, subscribe, share. I'm just bringing you along on some of the moments in gaming and how it went alongside moments in hip hop, because they're both basically 50 years old. Because we are the children of that, creating that. You know, now yes, H. Rap Brown is a militant that's I think he's still behind bars. What we call political prisoners. He goes way back to the 60s where he used to freestyle rap. In the 50s actually, even before that. So. And there it is, you know. So as you can see, there's a way different intro than what the Final Fantasy 2 is. It's all got HD graphics and all this fly stuff, and you see the girl, you know what I mean? That's his girl or whatever. And then the boy over here, I guess he's a little bit jealous or whatever, you know, but they supposed to be brothers. You know, the classic tale of two men, you know, competing for the heart of one woman, you know. One is evil. I guess he becomes a paladin. See, I'm telling too much of the story, right? But I'll do a little bit of that as I go through my gameplay of this again. They go to monk. You know, monks stay to themselves and don't need weapons really, you know. The dragoon, you know, the different jobs and stuff. The twins, I love the twins. My heart, never mind, I'm telling too much of the story. I love the twins. The twins is off the chain. There it is. There it is. So, Radia. Oh, jeez. Next level. So yeah, this one was the first one where the story really changed how you played Final Fantasy, right? Because this story right here is next level. The first 3 had story, but it was more of the gameplay, figuring out the numbers to win at the battle, kind of a thing. because you're basically doing Dungeons and Dragons type things. You're rolling the dice and trying to figure out how to get the best dice in order to attack the experience points or the enemy's health points to destroy the enemy. So you don't see the points, but they go on well, you do actually see the points as they go, as they go up and down. The monsters, you usually have to do a spell or something like that in order to see their health points. So, but there it is. Great intro, right? So there is Final Fantasy IV, aka Final Fantasy II, when it came out here originally in America. I know that's a little confusing, but I'm going to get into more gameplay of that. Now, this one was available on Apple Arcade, so I like I said in my last video, I did the so I don't even know how long I'm gonna have with that game. Sometimes they'll give you the game for a little bit, and then Apple Arcade will give it to you for a little bit, and then take it away from you, and it's like, all right, you got to finish it on your own. you gotta pay for it and buy it outright, right, in order to finish it, kind of a thing. And that's the new movement that they all doing. So it didn't even do an intro for this right here. This is the part 2 to that. Now this was the first Final Fantasy that had a part 2. I don't even know if that's true. 10 might have been the first one to have a part 2 to it, and this was like something that they made afterwards as a side story quest. I gotta check the original dates on these things because they don't even give you the real dates on here like it used to and everything. But so yeah, both of them are available. Oh no, this is the wrong one. Hold on, is this the right one? Is that what I just clicked? The After Years? Oh yeah, that is it. Oh, that is that. Okay, I thought this was also in 3D. It might be for the After Years. Yeah, I think that's in 3D too. Oh, but it does it episodically. That's right. So it's in episodes. Let me see if it's in 3D. That's all I want to see. Okay. So this was afterwards. I just wanted to see if it was in 3D. They're giving you bars on it. They let you know it's a little different than the one, the 3D one, the 3D one. But we'll figure all that out. That's more than enough. I showed you more than enough, and I'm going to play them and cut them up and make it, more videos, breaking down. Trust me, I'm gonna put it together and really trying to help people that haven't. So yeah, so this is in 3D too. TOO, right? And explain some of it, I guess, like I just did, but also talk about the state of gaming, hip hop, and life. One God, our Father, all the time. Hip hop life, love one. As God is love, hip hop is life. Love, time is holy. Money is nothing more than that fourth dimensional illusion that really doesn't exist. Because macroeconomics or macro management is the art of making the most out of life. That microeconomics or micromanagement is nothing more than false pride, false wrath, right? Anything false and being anti-virtuous in your being, in order to be diabolical or dumb. And ripping people off for cash. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to share with y'all. Cool. Hit the like button. You can send me $1, and I will recycle that back in, because I do practice black on black business. You know what I mean? The black community is really, really hurting, and everybody's just continuously sucking the resources out of us, and our main resource is hip hop. And making it look bad. Why y'all making our culture look so bad, right? It's just the way it is, I guess, right? You see, we can count the dough, we can kick a flow, chill out watching videos, act really silly, yo, but really though, all that can end, my ninja, right? It's just the way life is, right? When the light goes off and it's my turn to settle down, my main concerns, promise that you will sing about me, promise that you will sing about me. Whether at the bars with superstars, cruising in the trooper car, I really don't care who you are. All I really need is a friend, right? How many of us have them friends? Before we go any further, let's be friends. There it is. Befriend, marry, have fun. We will achieve compassion, peace, and happiness together. This is Volathan Modulus Tautology signing out. I might make another video right after this one. I'm just in that mood right now. Until the seed make me play something silly like Sonic the Hedgehog, but there it is. I talk to y'all later. One.